wait. Well, good evening, and welcome to a rather rainy circuit to Barcelona, Catalonia. It's damp, it's raining, we've got intermediate quali, gonna have a dry race, or so I have been reliably informed. And Mr. Business is taking us out onto the circuit, along with Gellert, Mr. Quota, and a few others heading out of the pit lane early. These early laps in qualifying are just going to be lapping around, getting to know the track, getting to know the grip in these conditions, and then later we'll see the time stumbling. The last runs are going to be the most important. Pretty much whoever gets to the line last is going to be with the best shot of pole, because that's how these conditions go. I don't know if Mr. Business is going to let Gellert's past, who slightly tailgating him around this outlap. It's not like the early laps matter too much. But yeah, a soggy Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. This one should be fun for qualifying, because we have the mental idea of what the order, or what we'd expect the order to be, but in the rain, many things change in the rain. Certain drivers excel, certain drivers tend to struggle a little bit more. But Mr. Business takes us round the last couple of corners of turn 12 at the moment, as he begins. Why is my mic so loud on Twitch? It's not... That's why. Give me a second. Let's do something more like that. Should keep the mic levels a little bit lower. But Mr. Business begins the first round of qualifying as he takes us down into the first corner, going to get it stopped. Braking quite early. He obviously running no line. Does still understeer slightly wide of the apex, getting it somewhat under control through 2 and round 3. This corner, especially in the wet, can be so difficult in terms of grip. It's not quite flat out yet in these conditions. Obviously, you want as wide of an entry as possible into turn number 3. Into 4. He's just come through 3. Again, just testing the grip levels at this stage, going down into turn number 5, the slight downhill left-hander, back on the power as soon as he can. Liam Boalder, it would appear, has had an incident. He's gone back into the pit lane. We've got a few, but most drivers are out on the circuit. Everyone, in fact, except Liam Boalder on the circuit. Mr. Business takes us down into turn number 10. Reprofiled in the last couple of years. He's going to get back on the power up the hill. This can be a little bit tricky through that section with a couple of bumps. Can unsettle the rear of the car. Takes us through turn 12 and back on the power. There used to be that nasty bump there on the left-hand side on the previous couple of games. I believe that's gone now as he takes us through the final corner of turn number 14. And Mr. Business crossed the line. Does a 125.0 as the first lap of qualifying. Gellert's going to follow him across with a 26.1. Here comes Mr. Quota across the line with a 123.6, go 4 tenths faster than what Mr. Business was able to manage. Claudio can only do a 25.4 to go 4 tenths behind Mr. Business. Rivs racing next to the line as he crosses it now. 25.1 goes 1 tenth behind Mr. Business, who's in that P2 position for the time being. Toya can only manage a 25.6, but I think that might have been a double outlap, and he's going to go again. Giannuzzi across the line with a 125.1 to go a tenth behind Mr. Business's lap. So far, no one getting too close to what Mr. Quota was able to manage. And next across the line as he crosses it now. It's 124.3. Oh, Mr. Quota's it's 1.4 seconds away. I thought it was 4 tenths. Oh, is it still called Hungry on YouTube? Am I stupid? It might still be called Hungry on YouTube. Hold up. We are changing the YouTube title as we speak. Alright. Yeah, it is called Spain. Save. It's always been called Spain. I don't know what you mean. Charlotte slots in to that P3 position and currently sitting in P2, 7 tenths behind Mr. Quota, who does have quite a sizable advantage at the top for the time being. Toya 7 tenths up on his lap would see him into the 124s as things stand. Mr. Quota's gone again and gone faster with a 123.4 to go nearly a second faster than what AM was able to manage. The times are still coming down as the track rubbers in. Here comes Toya, is going to be the next car to the line as he takes us around the final corner. The championship leader in the Red Bull now. What can he do across the line? Again, it's a 7/10 improvement, but I'm not sure if he's still gone for a full push lap as he slots into P6 with a 124.8. Giannuzzi goes up into P3 with a 24.5. Think for the time being, some of these drivers are attacking, some of them are just letting the track rubber in a little bit, and then they'll go properly for it later on. As Anne's going to be the next car across the line. He's just starting another run there. Bert's coming back into the pit lane. He's only got a 25.3 for the time being. Om sitting in P13 with a 25.9. It's going to be one of those qualifying sessions where we see lap times constantly being set, improvements constantly being made. Shark's coming back into the pit lane after only a couple of runs. We'll be looking for a new set of tyres and some more fuel. Om's coming back in to the pit lane as well. Mr. Business around the last corner. I'm not sure if he's on a flying lap as we follow him across the line. I think he's definitely not on a lap at this stage. He's going to be going for another one. No, sorry, he does improve. I could have sworn he was down his time. It's a 24.1 from Mr. Business as he slots up into P2. 7/10 off what Mr. Quota was able to manage. Claudio jumps up into P4 with a 24.5. Liam Wilder can only manage a 25.5 in his Racing Bulls card. Mr. Quota coming back into the pit lane, sitting P1 with quite a comfortable advantage for the time being. Rivs Racing comes around the final corner. He's a couple of tenths up on what he's been able to manage so far. He slots in to P5 with a 124.5 to go 1,000th behind what Claudio was able to do, which put him in P4. Still yet to be convinced by Toya in this session so far. He's 2 tenths up on his personal best through Sector 1. But he's still quite a long way, 1.3 seconds behind Mr. Quota at this stage. He's going to need to do a lot more if he wants to be challenging for pole later on. Just a few cars taking their ways through the last couple of corners. I don't think there is anyone on that. As I say that, Lim World is half a second up, coming through that middle sector into the final couple of corners through turn 10 into 11, and now the right-hander of 12. Especially in these wet conditions, feels like it goes on for so long. Before it takes us through turn 13 into the last corner of 14, committing as much as he can at this stage, but wanting to make sure it stays within those white lines. Across the line he goes. It's P4 with a 124.4 for Liam Wilder. As Toya comes across the line, slots into that P4 position with a 24.2. Now the Williams of Juniors is going to be the next car to the line as well. I'm not sure if he's improving at this stage. He comes across the line. It is an improvement, a very slight one, to go up into P6. Does bump him a couple of positions, despite being less than a tenth of a second. We've got Rivs Racing just coming across the line, who's starting another run. Ayan in the Alpine is doing the same. Charlotte's just on an outlap here, coming through the final couple of corners. We'll be going again on new tyres and with a bit more fuel. And G-Mage currently down and having invalidated that lap, so obviously won't be improving for now. Mr. Business not improving either through the first couple of sectors. I think people are just waiting for a bit later in the session before they commit to those final runs. Liam Wilder out of fuel is going to be heading back into the pit lane. He's got Toya just behind him, who might be pushing as he slides his way through turn 12. I'm not sure if the Red Bull is going to be able to improve on his time. He takes us through 13 into the last corner of 14. He's going to commit to the line. Using the last bit of battery he's got left. Across the line he goes. It's a 123.4. And he has matched what Mr. Quota was able to manage. He's not been able to beat it just yet, but he is there, on par with the provisional pole time, being less than half a tenth behind it at this stage. But around the last corner is going to be the next to break the line. As he improves by 7 tenths to go up into P8. Rivs Racing behind improves up into P4. Then it's Ayan across the line. Who goes fastest by 2 tenths with a 123.2. And that is on the same set of tyres he's done the entire qualifying session on so far. But the interwear, especially in qualifying, isn't too severe on this game, as Charlotte comes across the line and goes into P4 with a 1.1 second improvement. A 23.6 puts her 4 tenths behind the provisional pole time. D-Mage again has invalidated, not run out of fuel just yet, still got a bit more in the tank. Coming around the last corner has run out of battery, which is really going to cost him across the line. He does improve by 1.3 seconds to go up into P10, but there's definitely a lot more time in that lap. Mr. Quota is currently down on his personal best. He's going to be going again shortly. If he can clear this Red Bull first, he's having to go right the way around the outside. A little bit of racing action going on in this stage of qualifying. They're even getting close to pushing each other off. Oh, Mr. Quota and Toya. Toya, without any fuel, is going to come back into the pit lane, but not going to be improving as he's invalidated his lap. So is Giannuzzi. and currently P1 is down. Is not deploying battery. He's going to be heading back into the pit lane to refuel. Has Bert crashed? Is that coming into the pit lane? I think Bert might have encountered the Spain pit lane bump. Yes, he has. The notorious bump at the pit lane entry here at the circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya. Bert's encountered it, and he is out of qualifying, currently sitting P11. Could very well be starting P14 as Claudia crossed the line to go into P5. With a solid improvement, Mr. Business is going to be the next to start a run. Om's on his way back into the pit lane. There's a Ferrari off of D Mage who's got, I don't know, it seems to have fuel. We'll be heading back into the pit lane though, because won't have enough to do another run. Liam Ward invalidated his lap. Mr. Quota is 2/10 down through the middle sector, despite going purple. So he's going to have to find a little bit more time in the final couple of corners. I'm not sure he's going to have it on this lap, and he might have to come into the pit lane and wait for the final runs. He is going to take it through the last couple of corners. He's going to try. There's a big slide through turn 14. And I don't think he's going to improve after that one. He's only 2/10 down, so there is a lot of time in the final sector for Mr. Quota, if he can just deliver upon it. Claudio taking us through the final couple of corners, through turn 12 into 13 and 14 are the only two corners that await him on this circuit. It's a bit of a slide. Through turn 13, he takes us into the final corner of turn 14 again, sliding through that last corner right the way out to the track limits and across the line. It's a very marginal improvement, but it does gain him that P5. Mr. Business going to cross the line. He goes up into P5 with quite an improvement there to slot in. Quite close behind Charlotte and quite close in front of Claudio. This is all very tight in that midfield pack. So Mr. Quota is on his way back to the pit lane with only a few minutes to go in the session. It will be back into the pits, refuel, new tyres, and back out again, wanting the last run in the session, because that will be with the best track conditions. Obviously, you don't want to leave it too late and cut it too fine so that you don't get a lap in at all. I don't know how long's left in the session because we can't see because there's a yellow flag, but a decent few drivers are still in the pit lane, so there will be enough time at least for an outlap as Mr. Quota comes into the pit lane, slightly understeering and tapping the wall. 3 minutes 20 to go will be more than enough for him to go in, get back out again, and go again. As Rivs Racing heads down in towards the first couple of corners as well. He's just starting another run with 3 minutes to go in the session. He'll probably be able to cool off and then do another before the checker flag. So he's slightly drifting through turn 3. Takes us into the first sector, split a 10th up on his personal best. Takes us through turn 4. There's also Liam Walder, who's out there on the circuit, the only other driver still out there. So it's another slide through turn 5. Slightly locking the rears under braking is Rivs Racing, but it uses it to rotate that front end, taking us into 7 and then 8. 2 high-speed corners in the dry, more medium speed in the wet conditions. And it's up turn 9, normally foot to the floor in dry conditions, heading down in towards turn 10 with a straight that normally has DRS. He's 2/10 up now on his personal best. Could possibly jump him up to around where Mr. Business is if he can find a bit more time in this final sector. Rotating it through turn 12, again slightly out of control as he takes us through the high-speed section to end the lap. And now it's just turn 14 that awaits him, trying to keep as much throttle through the corner as possible as he crosses the line. It's 3 and a bit tenths in the end as he goes into P4, not far behind his teammate Toya, who sits just ahead of him in P3. And now he's going to back off and go again at the end of the session. 1:40 to go. These drivers that are still in the pit lane are going to have to get a move on if they want to get another lap in. Obviously, everyone wants to be the last car to start a lap. If you leave it too close, cut it too fine, you won't get one at all. DMage is trying to be the last out, but I don't know if there will be enough time at this stage of the session. It's going to be tight with the Ferrari, whether he makes it or not. Liam Wilder's a tiny bit down on his personal best. He won't have time to go again, so he's going to be starting his final lap of the session. He's going to be the first driver to begin the final runs. And here he goes. Around the final corner, and the final runs of qualifying begin now. With Liam Wilder taking us into turn 1. We've got Charlotte that's Chazza coming around the last corner as well. Then I believe it's Giannuzzi, followed by Ayan, who's on provisional pole. Then it's the 2 Red Bulls. Rips racing ahead of Toya. And then we've got Charlotte, who's just given way to Gellertz, who's gone past. Charlotte obviously wanting as good of a track condition as possible. But we're going to follow along. Liam Wilder, 3/10 up through Sector 1. Going to try and carry as much of that momentum forwards as he can. He needs 1.2 seconds to be able to displace Ayan for provisional pole. I doubt he's going to be aiming for that high. Possibly P4, P5 is more on the agenda for Liam Wilder. That's only 0.8 to do, but it's still quite a long way for him to find in the final couple of sectors. We'll see in a second how much he's up by in the first 2 sectors, as the checker flag has now fallen. DMage has not made it to the line, and it's 0.8 for Liam Wilder, so maybe challenging at the top is possible if the others don't get that final lap in. As he takes us around turn 12, does Liam Wilder. Back of the power goes Liam Wilder, trying to take it with as much speed as possible as he goes into turn 14. And he's going to come across the line shortly. How much is he going to improve by? How much the track improvement? He goes P2 with a 123.4. And that shows that the track is really ramping up. Chazza a second up as well as he comes around the final couple of corners. And he is improved by 1.4. It's only enough for P11. Now we got Giannuzzi next across the line. He's only 0.2 up as he crosses the line. He goes P5, and I doubt that one's going to last for too much longer. N improves by 0.8 to extend that provisional pole margin. Toy going to be the next. As Ridge racing next to the line, Toya spins in the final corner, and the championship leads in the wall. He's not going to be improving upon the P5 that he's got at this stage. As Shah's going to be the next to the line. In the Aston Martin, who improves up onto the front row as things stand. Mr. Quota's not improving by very much. He crossed the line. It's P2 in the end. Found the time in the final sector, but he's displaced by Claudio, who puts himself on the front row. And it's going to be Mr. Quota P3. I believe it was Mr. Business P4 and then Charlotte P5. In a dramatic end to qualifying, which is Ayan on pole. Claudio second place, rounding off the front row. Not far behind him was Mr. Quota, then Mr. Business and Charlotte Rivs Racing. They're also quite close to those in front, but Ayan by 0.4. It's fair enough. It's a very good lap in the end. Pole by 0.4 is nothing to be sniffed at. Toya was improving by quite a lot. He came to the line. Where would that lap have put him if he just got that final sector right? And Bert's quite lucky to keep P13 in the end with how that went. Yeah, very, very tight behind Ayan. And it sets up quite an exciting race. Obviously, it depends how different the pace is between qualifying and the race. But if it's anything like that, it'll be quite exciting, I'd imagine. All very tight in the upper midfield. There's a... Yeah, I can... I'm not sure if I can do it. Let's... Formation lap just starting. Live... Stream manager... No, that's... Wait, that's YouTube. I'm silly. There. Ban. There we go. Alright, the formation lap is underway. It's a lot of soft tyres from the drivers. Those on the softs, are they going for the two-stop? I don't know. So, yeah, that's looking to soft, medium. I don't know how the soft tyres will be in the race. I know a medium hard is definitely possible. Maybe the soft medium is viable, I'm not sure. Or possibly a soft hard. And we've actually got a range of strategies on the F1 game. It's crazy. All it takes is a wet qualifying, and then people actually do different things because they've all got softs to use. So the top three, Ian, Claudio and Mr. Quota, all on the soft tyre. So I noticed down to the top 9, oh no, the top 7 are all of different teams. Mr. Business, Charlotte and Rivs Racing, all on the medium tyres. Then Liam Wilder and P7 going with the hards. Toya and Giannuzzi on the mediums. Gerlitz and Chazza on the softs as Claudio disconnected right before the start. And he definitely won't be back in time for the race to start. He's going to lose so many places through no fault of his own. How quickly will he be able to rejoin? And what will the damage look like by the time he does? That's so unfortunate, as D-Major is going to be the last car to line up on the starting grid. Should buy Claudio that little bit more time to get back in. Yeah, but he's going to lose out a lot in this opening phase. Watch out for Mr. Quota and P3 will be definitely looking to take that second place away. Maybe even challenge for the race lead into turn 1. As we await the lights and the beginning of the Spanish Grand Prix. Fire red lights. And the lights are not out on my screen, but away we go. Ian leads in towards the first corner, as you'd expect. Mr. Quota already pulling to his outside, looking to challenge the Alpine. Before they even get to the corner, he sweeps around the outside, and Mr. Quota leads through turn 1, and goes for the switch back round 2, and they're still side by side through 3. Mr. Quota on the inside this time, Ian on the outside, and they're going to go into turn 4 wheel to wheel. No, they're not, as Mr. Quota gets himself ahead. Ian sends the lunge into turn 4, and I think he's just retaken that race lead. Ian moves up into the race lead where he started. Mr. Quota takes that second place away from Claudio, as you'd expect. Mr. Business in P3, Rivs Racing takes P4 with Toya in P5, the two Red Bulls moving up early on. With Gallett's P6, Chazza P7 making a very good start. Toya has gone off through 7 and 8, losing out all the way down to P10. Giannuzzi's also disconnected in that start sequence. As Toya sends a lunge on the inside of Burt, goes a little bit deep in doing so, and invites the Alpine back up and under into that 9th place. But it's Ian who still leads. Mr. Quota still sitting in 2nd place. Mr. Business just behind them in 3rd on the medium tyres, which should be better later on in the race. Giannuzzi's joined back. Claudio does not seem to be able to so far. There goes Mr. Quota on the inside of Ian, and he breezes past back into turn 1. Retakes that race lead, which he held in the opening sequence. And now we can see what the pace difference will be. Whether the McLaren can pull away. It's a 10-second time bounty for speeding in the pit lane for Liam Wilder. And that's his race over as early as the end of lap 1. And just tucked in behind Mr. Quota for the time being. How long are those softs going to last for before the medium tyre becomes the better option is the question. Because Mr. Business is going to be there, ready and waiting for when it happens. And the two in front can only try and shake him off in the early stages, but I don't think that will be possible. He's extending that gap out front to 6/10 of a second, has Mr. Quota, but N's going to be behind him, getting the DRS as well. It's down to 4/10 because he had a bit of a slide through turn number 12. And N could be with a chance of retaking that lead into turn 1. He's very close on the exit of turn 14. He's going to get the run with the DRS. And N moves back fast into the race lead. The pole sitter retakes P1 into turn 1. Mr. Quota just settling in behind. There's no point fighting it at this stage. Just work together to try and keep the medium tyre runners behind for as long as possible. It's been a good start for pretty much all of these drivers at the front as Chazza and Gellert's going side by side as the McLaren trying to squeeze the Aston Martin as much as he can manage. Chazza on the inside into turn 5. Can't quite get that place. Shard and D-Mage looking to go side by side there. Into turn 7. Is he going to think about it on the inside? Charlotte takes the corner and does maintain that 7th place. It was a bold attempt from D-Mage and it might have got Charlotte the DRS, which it has. And now D-Mage should be able to get past down the next straight, assuming he's got low enough wings to be able to do so. Although Charlotte has closed back up to those cars in front. Gellert and Chazza have now lost the DRS because of their battling. Mr. Quota has a lot more battery than N at this stage and will use that. And the DRS to try and move back past into turn 1. As here he comes and defends the inside. Mr. Quota breezes round the outside and retakes that race lead. Chaz moves up into P5, having got past Gellert into turn 1. But he's still 1.8 seconds behind Rivs Racing in front, and it looks like we've seen a split in the field between the top 4 and those behind as early as lap 4. So now Mr. Quota leads. Rivs Racing is able to hang on quite comfortably to those in front. Possibly the medium tyres are already starting to improve relative to the softs. But now Chazza, it seems to be struggling to keep pace with those in front of him. The gap has remained relatively similar, but he's not going to have DRS, and so that gap's only going to come back down again as the race carries on. They're going to go around the final couple of corners again. Ayan does have the DRS, but he's got a lot less batteries. He runs wide on the final corner, and that invites Mr. Business past and into second place. It's Rivs Racing going to go for the move as well as they go down into turn 1. He's going to think about it. Mr. Business moves up into the race lead, going on the inside of both of them. Now, what can the medium tyres do in clean air? It's a big mistake from Ayan at the final corner, as he went off the track into the gravel, and he falls down to P3. Lucky, really, there's not P4. As Charlotte moves past Gellert up into P6, right behind her teammate now, but on those medium tyres, which seem to be better at this stage. D-Mage and Gellert's now going side by side through turn 5. Seems to be a little bit of contact there, as the McLaren does move back past on the outside into 6, 7 and 8. But now, Mr. Business leads, and what can he do out front in this race? He's got Mr. Quota still very close behind him, who will quite possibly look to go back past with a lot more battery as well. But he won't want to waste it, will Mr. Quota. He'll want to save it for when it's actually necessary, which is not this stage of the race, as Giannuzzi seems to have gone off through the final couple of corners, and we've got the safety car deployed on lap 6. Gellert comes into the pit lane, who seems to have been involved in an incident. He's going to be able to change his tyres, possibly a front wing if necessary. Quite possibly Giannuzzi and Gellert have got into an incident. So Gellert changed his front wing. Giannuzzi is going to have to do the same, as he's missing his. But none of the leaders have caught the safety car, so there is an option for everyone to come into the pit lane, and I imagine they all will for a 2-stop. Although it depends what tyre allocation people have gone with. Those on the mediums may well have to go with 2 hards to the end of the race. Those on the softs can get away with sticking a medium on. I'm going to see if Claudio's going to rejoin by inviting him again. Now that it's under safety car, he might have another opportunity. So, will these leaders make a pit stop? I imagine most of them will. There's an awful lot of laps at this circuit. By the time we go green, there's going to be about 25 to go. Which would make sense for two hards, if they have them. Here they are, all coming into the pit lane. Every single one of them into the pits. Charlotte, though, is going to stay out and take the race lead on her medium tyres. She is the only driver in the field to stay out at this safety car. She's going long and going, quite possibly, for the one-stop strategy. Everyone on the medium tyres, like I said, has gone for a set of the hards. And Om's gone for a set of the softs, which is a choice that intrigues me. Holy frames. What's going on there? So Om's gone for a set of the softs, which will not take him very long. They'll take him another... I don't know. What's the longest they could go? And they went 6 laps in the opening stint. Don't know how much longer than that they could go. So this will be an interesting one. Obviously, the race leader on 6-lap-old mediums. She's going to be slow. At least slower than the guys on new tyres, for sure. But she's going to be in the lead. On the softs is going to be fast. Or somewhat fast. You never quite can tell with frankly. This is going to be very interesting. And I think this is going to be an enjoyable watch for the next few laps. And quite possibly, we could see another safety car shortly after this one. Unatos says he's cooking Omstra. What's the plan then? Soft to the next safety car, then hard to the end? Is that the plan with That's what I'd guess. Like, softs, hope for another safety car, then stick on a set of hard for the end. Should get another lap under safety car, I think. No, I take it back. Safety car's in this lap. So, Charlotte's in control of the restart. She's going to want to wait until the safety car gets back into the pit lane, which it has done now. And now she's in control of when to accelerate for the restart. Keeping a very constant pace through the final corner, for she chooses to accelerate when she pleases. And she goes, accelerating away for the safety car restart, and Mr. Business has got quite a poor restart compared to Mr. Quota and Ayan, who are both on either side of him, heading in down in towards turn 1. The frames have gone again as Mr. Quota moves past in second place, Ayan into third. Mr. Business has to back off into fourth, but he's on those hard tyres. That will be an investment for the future, for when those mediums start to drop off. As Om's moved up into P7. It's a lunge from Mr. Quota, trying to get past Charlotte. There's a bit of contact there at turn 4, as the McLaren does move past in the end. But now Ayan's going to have to try a similar lunge. He does the same. He goes on the inside. Seems to push Charlotte right the way to the edge of the track to move up into second place. Mr. Business follows him through into third. Charlotte now down in fourth place. Will be having Rivs racing on the back of her before too long, as Chazza moves up the inside of the Red Bull, and now you'd imagine the Aston Martins will swap round without too much fuss to try and help one another, as Om goes around the outside of Rivs Racing as well, using those soft tyres, or he tries to. He gets a little bit wide, loses the rear, and has to settle for P7. Mr. Quota has almost pulled a second out on Ayan already, within just the lap of the safety car restart. As we go on to lap number 10, no DRS yet for Ayan, and Mr. Quota will be looking to try and open up that DRS as soon as possible. Charlotte does seem to have caused a bit of a gap in the field, or a few gaps in the field quite possibly. As going off the track there, that's Toya, who has to take the escape road at turn 1 and 2, falls down to 11th place. Om's up into 6th, using those soft tyres to good effect so far, but what can he do when he's encountered with the two Aston Martins up in front of him? As now Rivs Racing and Gellert's going side by side, with those hard tyres not looking so good at this stage. Gellert's trying to find the gap on the outside. Rivs Racing is going to be bold to make the move there. He goes dancing around the outside, a little bit of contact through 7 and 8, but he gets that move done. And those hard tyres do not seem to fire up at all. Same with Mr. Business, who's in 2 seconds behind the two in front of him. And those two, and Mr. Quota and Ayan, could possibly be looking at the double medium to take them to the end of the race, because he is hard to look woeful. At least in the hands of Mr. Business and Rivs Racing. I don't know how good they'd be at the end of a stint. And Ayan just about clinging on to DRS, but he's used most of his battery to do so. The game just doesn't like turn 1, apparently. As Chazza moves past Charlotte into turn number 1, it's almost a little bit of contact between the two Aston Martins. As now Om seems to have the run on the car in front. He's so much quicker through turn 3. Can he get the launch to go for the move into 4? He's going to think about it. But there was never really a chance to go for that move. He's going to think about it again as many times as he can. He's going to send one into turn 5, or is he? He half commits, forces Charlotte a little bit wide. She compromises her line to try and hold on. Now he's on the inside for turn 7. Sure, he's going to back out here. He sends it and gets the move done up into P5 on those soft tyres. It's brave and it's bold, but it's worked for the Kicks Alba, who's now up into P5 on that soft tyre. Can Ayan cling onto the DRS here, as he seems to be stuck behind, or stuck just outside Mr. Quota's DRS? With now the McLaren being presented with a perfect opportunity to just pull away and open up that gap, now that the Alpine behind him doesn't have any DRS. Here comes Chazza thinking about the move on Mr. Business, side by side between Rivs Racing and Gellert as they go into turn 1. Who's going really deep into turn 1 is Gellert, almost collecting Charlotte in front of him. Rivs Racing gets that place as... I might be getting the drivers the wrong way around. Someone went deep. Rivs Racing is staying in that P7. Team Mage now on the back of Gellert's going to try the move on the outside into turn 5 to possibly set up the exit. He's not going to be able to do anything and has to settle there for the time being. Chazza seems to be all over the back of Mr. Business with a full battery as well. Looks set to take that P3. Those hard tyres have not fired up at all for either of the drivers on them. Rivs Racing still unable to get past Charlotte at this stage, having to sit there 3 tenths behind. Chaz is practically pushing Mr. Business through those corners, ready to go for the move into turn 1. And ready to take that P3 away unless Om can do something about it. There seems to have been a collision behind or something to that effect as Giannucci jumps up into P8. Toya and Gellett's going side by side through the final corner. Here comes Chaz. Does he have low enough wings to make the move? He's going to send the car on the inside. And he moves up into P3. Onto the podium places. And Om's going to want to follow him through. But those soft tyres, you'd imagine, will already be a little bit past their best. Would he have been better on those mediums? He's got 2 sets of mediums to Om, and I know that because he tried to select the harder allocation and he missed. Would he have been better on the medium? I'm not sure. And it's definitely got him up the field. But how long will it last for? To the end. I imagine Om's going to extend this soft sim for a little bit longer, then stick on a hard to take him to the end, but can't be sure. Aiden has got back in to the 1 second of Mr. Quota, thankfully for him. He's still within a chance of taking this race to the McLaren. As Giannucci gets past D Mage, who's gone off in the final couple of corners. Lost a couple of places. Giannucci gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as Mr. Business moves back past Chazza into turn 1. With Om sitting there in P5, not quite able to do anything at this stage. As Charlotte loses a couple of positions down into P8 on those old mediums. And with the 6-lap tyre offset that these drivers have, it's going to be hard for Charlotte to defend too much more. As Toya's not able to do anything with those hards that still seem to be waiting to be fired up. They just don't seem to be quite there. And they don't on Mr. Business, and they don't on Rivs Racing. Giannucci's look alright at this stage, as he moves up into P6, but... And I don't know how much of that is the tyre and how much is just finding the opportunity. I mean, we'll monitor that gap between P6 and P5. Because Om's on the softs, he's going to be dropping off before too long. He's got a full battery, looking to get involved in the fight as Charlotte and Toya going side by side. The Aston Martin remains ahead for the time being. The championship leader will just be getting frustrated behind that rear wing. As Charlotte dives into the pit lane on lap 15, will put on a set of hards to take it to the end of the race. It's going to be a one-stop for the Aston Martin. But was that worth it? Was that worth the track position gained for the amount of time she lost to those in front? I'm not sure. She might have been better putting on a set of soft, like Om did, and then pitting now. And you'd imagine Om will be in, if not this lap, very shortly, to go onto a set of the hards to take him as long as possible. Because I can't imagine those softs being very good anymore. 8 laps old. They're probably nearing expiry, is how I'd put it. As Mr. Business now practically pushing Chazza through the corners. Is a role reversal as those hards seem to be finally gaining a little bit on the mediums. He'll most likely move past into turn 1, and I think Om's most likely going to be pulling into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Going 1 lap after Charlotte. He's going to go at least one more lap on those softs. He's able to cling on with those in front of him for the time being, so it's fair enough. The only thing is he won't want to be undercut at this stage. Mr. Business does move past Chazza, as was, fairly obviously going to happen. And if Om can just keep with these guys on the better tyres for as long as he can, then jump into the box, this could be very interesting to the end, because none of these guys will be making it to the end. No one's making it to the end from here. Just Om wants to make sure he gets somewhat of an undercut before he pits. The softs look alright, but they don't look amazing, is what I've concluded from this so far. And I'm just interested what is going to happen with this tyre situation. Is dropping further and further behind the train in front of him. I think the time to pit is approaching. Everyone's made a pit stop at this stage, but some will undoubtedly be making two. Charlotte's probably the only driver that's going to one-stop in this race, unless we see another safety car. Still going. He's still just about clinging onto that DRS. But I imagine, give it another lap, and he will no longer be in the 1 second, and that's when he'll call it and dive into the pit lane to get off those softs, put on the set of the hards, as Mr. Bissons and Chaz are going side by side through 1 and 2. The Mercedes does maintain ahead with those hards, seemingly the better compound for the time being. We'll see where Gellert comes out compared to Charlotte. It looks like the Aston Martin will be ahead as she does move quite comfortably past. But where does come out relative to that? Charlotte's gained a decent bit of time on him. Now sitting about 25 seconds behind. Should still remain ahead. But it'll be closer than it would have been if he had pitted a lap ago. Is what it appears to be. That's what it seems to be looking like at this stage. As takes us through turn number 10, and you'd imagine, unless he can cling on for another lap, he'll be pitting. Or maybe he's going to cling on as long as possible and then go for a medium to the end. Because he does have 2 mediums. So into the pit lane comes Chazza from the medium tyres. Is definitely going longer than I expected. Chazza and Charlotte will probably be fairly close to one another. But I think Chazza will remain ahead of his teammate. So Rift Racing moves past Iannuzzi into turn 1. They are definitely gaining on and that train in front. Or at least gaining relative to... They're definitely gaining on Not really gaining on Mr. Business at this stage, because is simply just falling back from him. As Chazza comes out of the pits, about 5 seconds ahead of his teammate, so that will be roughly where is, except he'll be a bit further back because he's going to lose time on this outlap. The gap's 4 seconds between Chazza and Charlotte. Was about a second behind Chazza, and he's going to lose time on this outlap, so he's going to be pretty close to where Charlotte was if he comes into the pit lane. Or if and when he comes into the pit lane, because these guys can't go forever. And you'd imagine they'll all be pitting before too long, unless they want to go for another medium to take them to the end. Mr. Quota and Ayan do stay out for a little bit longer. They might be looking at another medium set to take them to the end. Mr. Business, obviously, is not going to pit again. And in comes from P4 to the pit lane off those old softs. He's going to be behind Chazza, undoubtedly. Where he comes out in relation to Charlotte is going to be interesting. Also into the pit lane is Toya and D-Mage. All going for a set of the hards to take them to the end. Toya's bugged, as is Om. Comes out of the pit lane, and it's going to be close with Chazza. He's actually, in the end, he's managed to overcut by a couple of laps. We can't quite see it because there's about 2 frames through turn 1. But has pulled off the overcut, and he's ahead of Chazza, and on a medium tyre that will be faster, at least for the first few laps, which he's going to use to try and pull away. And I don't think the only driver that's been extending to go for a set of mediums to the end of the race, because a lot of these guys in front of him look like they could be doing the same. Only 27 seconds behind the leader. The pit stop seems to be a bit under 20 from what it looks like. Could be in the podium contention at this stage. There is a possibility could be in the podium contention right now. He sets purple middle sector as he tries to pull away from Chazza behind. I don't think he's quite going to manage it on this occasion, but the pace is definitely there. He won't be in danger of being overtaken down the main straight. Chazza does just about cling on to the DRS. And depending what the pace is going to be like for the Sauber, he could be in with a great chance of challenging at the front. Time moves past Charlotte into turn 1. The championship leader looking to regain, having had a couple of tough weekends. Obviously, Hungary wasn't great. He got well, I think it was P5 in the end after a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Spitfire Boy. Sorry, no, it's P8. No, I can't read. It was P5 for Toya in the end in Hungary. This is going to be very interesting with the gap to Om, because it is coming down to the leaders, albeit not too rapidly just yet. But give it time, and once they all come into the pit lane, they obviously will have the tyre advantage. But Om could have track position over quite a few of them. So he's only 21 seconds behind Mr. Business now, who isn't going to extend those tyres for another 12 laps. It's not going to happen. This is going to be very interesting till the end. Toya's only 2.5 seconds behind Chazza at this stage. You can see them. All 4 of them in this fight. Down the main straight together. Realistically, Charlotte isn't going to be able to challenge Om at this stage. I don't see it happening because of the tyre difference. Chazza and Toya could be an interesting fight. Charlotte and Chazza could definitely end up happening later in the race. But Om's now within 20 seconds of Mr. Business out front. He's definitely gaining. He's undoubtedly gaining. But I don't know if he'll be gaining enough to offset the tyre difference that Mr. Business will have at the end of the race. Ayan seems to be struggling, and he does come into the pit lane at the end of lap 21, going on to 22. He starts on the softs, will be quite possibly putting on another set of the mediums, and we'll see where he comes out relative to Om, who was about 4 seconds ahead of Mr. Business when he came into the pit lane. And now we'll see, because if he's anywhere close to Om, this will be very interesting. He goes onto a set of the hard tyres, which will definitely be slower in the first few laps. He's quite comfortably ahead of Om, but by how much is the interesting question. It'll probably be about 4 seconds as he comes out the pits. It's 3 and a bit. So Om is definitely going to undercut Mr. Business. Mr. Quota should be safe, as that's Gellert who's gone off. And in the final couple of corners, my heart sank. I thought it was Mr. Quota when I saw it, because he's in that same rough region of the racetrack. Gellert comes into the pit lane in P12, having to pit again, possibly with some damage, and could well be out of contention for this one. I don't see him getting, and especially if he goes a lap down, he does retire, which I thought was quite a possibility. Mr. Quota comes into the pit lane, as he should remain ahead of Bert coming out of the pits, which will be a big help. As in he comes, he's got to wait ever so slightly because of Gellert's stop. He's being held in the pits because of his teammate. It's not a double stack, but they were both in the pit lane at a similar time. Mr. Quota goes onto a set of the softs. Rivs Racing comes in for a set of the yellow walled mediums. Bert comes in as well. And Ayan is going to jump him because of the slow stop for Mr. Quota. He's lost the net race lead. And now he's got Om right up behind him as well, whose tyres are already up to temperature. Mr. Quota has been... He's been completely ruined by the game. He was 4 seconds clear of Ayan. And now he's 2.5 seconds behind because his teammate retired the same lap as he came into the pit lane. That really does change the complexion of this race. Mr. Quota will be faster, undoubtedly, on those tyres. There'll be a huge tyre difference. As the only two yet to make that second stop, Giannuzzi and Mr. Business. The Williams comes in now, which will see him drop quite the way down the order once he puts on that new set of tyres. Mr. Quota is going to be setting the timing strings alight with his attempt to close back into Ayan. The gap's 1.5 as we go on to lap 24. I am very well expecting a fastest lap to be the next thing you see at the top of the screen, coming from Mr. Quota in his pursuit of the race lead, which he lost through an issue which pretty much never occurs. When you're the lead driver, you pretty much never get slown in the pit stop by your teammate. Om's losing time to Mr. Quota, of course. That was always going to happen. Who's now in a second of Ayan. But he is on. He's in net P3 right now for when Mr. Business comes into pit lane. Obviously, there will be the tyre difference that occurs later in the race. Because I can't see Mr. Business staying out. He might try it. But he's going to puncture if he tries. And Mr. Quote is gaining. He's getting so much time to Ayan. I think he already holds the fastest lap. Yeah. And he's 8/10 up on his personal best fastest lap. This, like, he's going to send the fastest lap. He's going to absolutely shatter what was previously the fastest lap of the race. So he come around the final corner. He's going to get the DRS. And he is going to breeze past into turn 1 to retake the net race lead. It's not a fight on the main straight. Mr. Quota leads again. Deservedly so. And now, expect him to pull away. There's a massive tyre difference. It's brand new softs versus new hards. But it's soft versus hards. It's not a realistic fight for Ayan. Even though it's for position, even though it's for the race lead, it's not a battle he can fight. Mr. Quota's still going purple. His shot's gone into the wall. With only a few laps to go, the safety car's deployed. And Mr. Business has been handed a lifeline. An absolute lifeline has gone the way of Mr. Business. It's a drive-through penalty for Toya for speeding under the safety car. And the championship leaders race is pretty much over. Unless we see another safety car before the end, Toya's going to be 10th. Claudio's not going to be classified, unfortunately for him, because he's just not in the race. Like, he's going to be classed as retiring on the lap in which he... He's going to be classified for the lap in which he, left the session, which is basically is before the start, so he didn't even start. And I guess he's going to be officially classed as did not start. Rivs Racing is going to take P2 here, which is a very interesting development. Toya has not jumped on in the pits, that is the game being silly. Giannuzzi has not made the second stop as well. He's going to come out side by side with Om. So kicks Alba, gets that P5, but Giannuzzi has that 3-second time penalty, which is going to really affect him with this. Going to really affect him at the end of this race. And obviously nothing is going to be affecting the drivers more than Toya's drive-through. That is race ending. It's going to be a 20-second loss for Toya. He's going to drive through the pits, and he's going to fall to last. And that's assuming... the best case scenario is Toya enters the pits, which officially triggers the drive-through penalties being served, and then the safety car comes out. That's the best case scenario for Toya, and even that would send him to last on the restart, and he'd have to work his way back through the field again. I know you can't serve under yellow, but if you start it before the safety car comes out, it's served. Or then I guess you want the safety car immediately after you serve it. Giannuzzi's coming in again. So he stayed out for a lap. I don't understand that call, really. I guess he went for the risk of staying out for a lap. Then probably just looked at the software and decided he's coming in. And yeah, Giannuzzi's going to be last. Because he did the half a lap up behind the safety car queue, and then he came in again. Is he going to be jumped by Bert? He's going to be close. He is going to stay ahead of Bert, coming out of the pits. So Giannuzzi's 10th on this restart. But he's got a 3-second time penalty anyway, so realistically he wasn't going to do too much for the end of the race. And this one is going to be interesting. I think... What do I think? I don't think at all, apparently. That's really been awful for Om as well. Because he was net P3. But now he's down in... He's down in P5. Safety car's in this lap. Rivs Racing is on 2 lap old... Oh, he's on medium for 2 laps older than the softs for everyone else. He's going to be slow, but he's not going to be that much slower. We'll see. The end of the race is going to be 6 to go under green flag conditions. Mr. Quota, who's led pretty much every lap, is sitting in 3rd. He's going to want to clear the 2 in front of him as soon as possible. Mr. Business accelerates, and we are underway again. Oh, there's someone off! That's Om who's gone off in the background, who was doing so well up until this point. He's gone off, and he's fallen to the back of the field. Mr. Business leads, Riz Racing 2nd place, Mr. Quota 3rd, and 4th, and now Chazza is up into 5th. Toya has served that drive-through. It's 10-second bounties all round for ignoring the yellow flag caused by Om. I think all of them will be removed for 4 drivers affected. I don't think that can be classified as illegal overtakes when Om was that far behind them as well. I think we are going to see 4 10-second time penalties removed. Obviously, Claudio's won't matter. But Toya served his drive-through too early. He served it too early and it didn't serve it. Toya's got to do it all over again. He's going to be P10, he's going to score 1 singular point, but his championship lead is going to be absolutely dented, especially if Mr. Quota comes through and wins this race. The gap in the standings, it's 21 points, is what Mr. Quota is trailing Toya by. And, it's 19 points, and it's 21 to Riz Racing in 3rd. And both of them they'll either be right on him, or they may even be ahead at the end of this race. As we go onto the pit straight again, Mr. Quota riding the wheel tracks of Riz Racing. He pulls out to the outside into turn 1. And he's going to have to make that move under braking. He does so. Mr. Quota back up into 2nd place. Deservedly so. He gets back up into P2. And now he's got to hunt down Mr. Business, who did undoubtedly get fortunate with the strategy. Mr. Quota has been incredibly unlucky, I'd say, in this race. He's had a lot of issues that weren't his fault at all. And he's going to try and capitalise on them. And set the lunge on Rift Racing into turn 5. And he moves up into 3rd. So the Alpine, who started on pole, is still with a chance in this race. He's still there or thereabouts. Mr. Quota, though, is in a brilliant position as they take us through turn 10. He's sitting 6 tenths behind Mr. Business with a decent bit less battery than the race leader. But the opportunity is undoubtedly there. Give it a lap or 2 and expect Mr. Quota to be side by side with Mr. Business. Maybe even now. I doubt he's going to send it too much. He's not going to waste too much of the battery, and Mr. Business is doing the same. They're just saving that ERS for when they need it later on. His teammate's going to think about the move. Jazzer is not going to do so just yet. Now down in P8, net P7 because of the 3-second time penalty for Burt. All of the 10 seconds will be removed because none of them were, and they were all for overtaking a car who spun. So, based on real life as well, and no one got a penalty in Silverstone for Max Verstappen spin. All of those 10 seconds will be removed. I have no doubt. But then, the question is who's going to be coming out on top? With the battery levels becoming more similar every time they go around. Mr. Quota just charging it up behind the Mercedes. And this might be his opportunity to retake the race lead, which he held for so long in the opening 2 stints. It's looking likely for Mr. Quota at this stage, as they take us around the final corner of turn 14. Accelerating onto the pit straight. It's a huge slide for Rayan, who just about keeps his front wing out of the wall. He taps it with the rear. But it keeps on going. Here's Mr. Quota. Is he close enough? He's not quite close. Enough to go for the move. Chazza moves past into third place, getting past Rift Racing. He's got that 10 seconds, but it will be removed because it was for spinning out at the final corner. You can't penalise him for overtaking a car that's facing the wrong way. D-Mage going through turn number 4 as well, just sitting there behind. There's a yellow flag as Giannucci's gone off at turn number 3. He falls behind Claudio, who's obviously is not going to be classified. He will remain P9 in the final race results. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. But the battle of the lead is a lot closer now because Mr. Quota has more ERS than Mr. Business. He's obviously not going to go for the move just yet. He's going to wait for the main straight. They both have full batteries, but Mr. Quota is the only driver to have the DRS. And he should move his way back past, up into the race lead, and taking it away from Mr. Business. So they're going to go through turn 14 again. Mr. Business does give the dirty air to Mr. Quota, and that's not insignificant as they go through the final corner. But here they go. Onto the pit straight on the penultimate lap. Mr. Quota in the wheel tracks of Mr. Business. He moves to the outside and moves past into the race lead. But is Mr. Business waiting to go for the attack on the final lap when Mr. Quota won't have an opportunity to fight back? This is a slide low through turn 3, and that might have cost him the race. Now 7.5 tenths. He sits behind. It's a slide from Mr. Quota in front of him though. These two trying as hard as they can on those softs that are so far past their peak. 6 lap olds now for both of those tyres. And for all 8 of those tyres across the 2 cars. I think Mr. Quota is just going to have enough though, as the gap sits at 8 tenths of a second. I don't think Mr. Business is going to be close enough to be able to challenge into turn 1. But there's another slide for Mr. Quota through turn 10. If he keeps those up, there could be a lot more of a chance for Mr. Business. So they accelerate onto the oh so important turn 14 and the run down the main straight. The gap's at 6 tenths of a second. Both are going to use every little bit of battery that they've got left. But I think Mr. Quota is going to have enough. Mr. Business is closing as they head down into turn 1, but I don't think he's closing enough. Mr. Quota holds on through the first corner, and now he's just got to keep it clean on this final lap to take a very well-deserved race victory in Barcelona. And the gap sitting at half a second again. Mr. Business's last chance will be the DRS straight into turn 10. But I don't think he's going to be close enough for that one. At 6 tenths again. You need to be so close to be to even be able to think of a move there. A 6 tenths of a second isn't going to be enough. It's going to be Mr. Quota, who looks set to take race victory, with Mr. Business having to settle for second, which honestly, he can consider quite fortunate because of that late safety car. Chazza looks on course to take P3 once that time penalty that he has gets removed. But there's only one driver that can take that race victory through the final couple of corners. It's been absolutely controlled out front, even though he's gone against his way a few times. Mr. Quota across the line. And he wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Mr. Business comes home P2. It's going to be Chazza in P3. Obviously, Riv Racing is going to have it on the result. But I imagine all of those 10 seconds will be removed. Bert comes home P8. It's going to be Giannucci P9. And the championship leader, Toya, is going to have to settle for that 10th place. Assuming he even makes it to the line. Which, obviously, he will. Toy's going to be the last car across the line. He's going to take the final point of P10. Well, that's the end to an exciting Spanish Grand Prix. It's Mr. Quota who wins and assumes that championship lead. Driver of the day and cleanest driver goes to Most overtakes Giannuzzi. Race winner and fastest lap goes to Mr. Quota. Very, very well-deserved race win. Mr. Business, P2, Rivs Racing, obviously P3 on the results. It's going to be Chaz P3. I can't remember exactly what the results were. I believe it's D-Mage P4. Or was it? No, it's Rivs Racing P4. I can't remember exactly. We'll sort it out at the end. But that was the Spanish Grand Prix. We thank you for watching the stream today. And next week, we hope to see you again racing in Suzuka. We'll see you then.